Hello everyone, and here today we do have some rugby news, and yeah, this is coming from rockingrugby.com, so check out the website in the description. And basically we're going to have a bit of discussion about the All Blacks against Australia that happened on Saturday. It was a Bledisloe Cup decider game. If Australia won, they would have won the first Bledisloe Cup in 13 years, and if the All Blacks had won, or when the All Blacks won, they did retain the Bledisloe. So the game was kind of set out, as a bit of a World Cup warm-up game, looking at a few players, and was kind of surrounded a few days before by kind of the surprise inclusion of Quade Cooper in the Australian team. We'll have a bit of talk about that later. But yeah, the teams did look strong. The All Blacks especially had a very strong team. Only made 2 changes from the week before where they did get beat in Sydney. They brought in Manonu for the injured Sonny Bill Williams, and then brought in Victor Vito, and that saw Jerome Kano slip to the bench. Australia did make quite a few changes, which, as I did say, included Quade Cooper coming into the team. So we started off early on in the game, and 6 minutes in, Australia did get a penalty, which put them 3-0 up. Quade Cooper did slot that easily enough. And on the 15th minute, Carter responded with another penalty, 3-3, simple enough. But then the game kind of got spliced open by Dan Carter. A lovely little step inside kind of allowed him to make a very nice break, which did end up slotting through Dane Coles on a very nice support line. And as we all know, Dane Coles is probably the fastest front row player in the world currently. And he had no problems running around the outside of Nick White, getting a very strong handoff, and just seeing Nick White fall to the ground was quite satisfying as a fellow front rower. So yeah, that did leave the All Blacks 10-3 up after Dan Carter did slot the conversion. Then there was a bit of controversy where the All Blacks actually got a penalty, but Nonu kind of pushed the ball down into Stephen Moore's face, and as you can see, the Australian players did not enjoy that too much, but still Carter slotted the penalty, and it did leave the score 13-3. Then the 29th minute, Quade Cooper slotted another penalty to leave it a 13-6 at half time, which wasn't a bad score altogether. But yeah, in the 47th minute, however, that is where the game really did kind of get sliced open. There was a penalty try that basically came off Milner Scudder making a really nice break up the middle, a very nice step. Did get caught, unfortunately, offloaded to Aaron Smith, and then the man himself, Quade Cooper, did come in with a rather high tackle, and as you can see, referee Nigel Owens had no other choice but to put him in the bin, and that did mean Australia were down to 14 men, and the All Blacks were 20 points to 6 up. With Cooper in the bin, the All Blacks kind of opened up their game a bit, started to play some nice moves. Nonu came into the game brilliantly at this stage, scoring in the 50th minute. Carter got the conversion to leave it 27-6. 3 minutes later, on the 53rd minute, Conrad Smith then once again sent through by Man Nonu. Lovely miss pass, actually. It'll be one to check out in the highlights. Carter converted 34-6. And once again, Nonu got a second try of the game, just slipped through on a short ball from Dan Carter, who did also convert it to leave it 41-6. And it was quite funny, actually. After the 10 minutes in the bin for Quade Cooper, he did actually not come back on. He was substituted off. But yeah, in the 76th minute, Folau, however, did get a bit of a consolation try. There was a bit of crossfield kick going. Ben Smith was going to be on the end of it, obviously left no fullback at home. Folau used his aerial ability to get under it and just ran through for an easy try. That left it 41-13 after Nick White got the conversion. So yeah, really from this game, there are 3 or 4 talking points. Probably one of the big ones of the night was Richie McCaw, who did break the record for the most test caps for any one player. He did overtake Brian O'Driscoll which as an Irishman, very saddens the heart. But Richie is a fantastic player, leader, and the crowd responded so brilliantly at Eden Park when Richie did come off. 142 caps is a lot. After the World Cup, that could be up to nearly 150, which is absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, really inspirational leader, and you could see his passion and how emotional he did get towards the end of the game when he was speaking afterwards. The second big talking point for me was Quade Cooper. I don't think actually in the first half he played half bad. His kicking was really good. He was slotting penalties and conversions quite nicely. Just penalties was all he had. But yeah, he did make a couple of mistakes, a drop ball at the back, and he was kind of getting jeered and stuff from the crowd, which would have made it a bit more difficult. But I think Australia will take him to the World Cup. They'll probably play him in the lighter games, maybe not against England and Wales, and then we'll see where they get on to after that. But yeah, I think he will definitely go to the World Cup. He is too classy a player not to go to the World Cup. It would be a shame to see someone with his talent wasted by not going to the World Cup. The third talking point for me was Nahi Milner-Skudder. It's his second cap for the All Blacks, scored 2 in his debut last weekend, and I thought had a phenomenal game on Saturday once again. His step is incredible, his pace is out of this world, and just his vision to set up some of the plays is great. But the big talking point is, will he get to the World Cup? I think 2 tries and 2 tests, also with a couple of assists as well. There's no way he cannot be turned down. But it's whether they can really leave out people like Israel Dag will be the question. Will the selectors have the guts to leave Israel Dag out of the squad? And the final talking point for me was just how amazing Dan Carter was. Even though this was his last game at in New Zealand, him, Nonu, were fantastic at 10 and 12. I thought Tony Woodcock did a good job in the scrum, and all those players that will be leaving are just absolutely spectacular and have done so much for the game in New Zealand. But yeah, Carter still showed his class. Only missed 1 kick, and that was just because he left it short. But yeah, I think he'll be unreal in France next year when he does go. And yeah, if you have found this informative and useful, there will be a link to the website in the description, as well as all of our social media. So yeah, hit all them links up and check them out. There will be highlights on the website that you can click on through from there. So just hit the website link and that will bring you to the highlights. So yeah, it has been news from rugby.com. Please leave a like, subscribe, and peace.